time to celebrate 50% of our population. It is time to celebrate those who form the backbone of society. It is time to celebrate those who fight all odds but deliver at all times. It is time to celebrate women on the occasion of International Women's Day. Frankly, for me, every day is Women's Day. Because be it a mother, daughter, partner, friend, boss, however, women continue to inspire. Women continue to drive India. And joining us now is Union Minister for Women and Child Development and Textiles, Smriti Irani ji. Smriti Irani ji, thank you very much for taking the time out. Let me first ask you, International Women's Day. My first question, my first issue is why should there be a Women's Day in the first place? We got to start from there, isn't it? That automatically makes women unequal.
I think that the very fact that a man poses that question tells us why we need the 8th of March to be celebrated. The fact that every time there is a cause for celebration or a platform for celebration, the question only begets women as to why they should be celebrated. Why not? Our efforts do not extend only to the workplace. Our effort extends to our family, our relationships every day. And as a man, I'm sure that you're aware that those efforts are not curtailed to just showing up and serving food. They're actually about how to manage home finances, or for that matter, the individual's finance when they get to work. The fact that there have been times where we have lacked opportunities to compete. And when given that equal opportunity, not only competed but won, but our victories never get celebrated. So I agree with you, why only one day, why not 365 days? But the fact that internationally, this is a day to recognize not only the capacity, but also the potential for the future, that makes this day a bit special. But as far as I'm concerned, Anand, you should do a segment on women every day.
Now let me ask you this, because my point of view is that women should be celebrated every day and there should not be any single day to mark only for women. In fact,
I agree.
Yeah, but let me ask.
I agree. You should do a segment on us every day in prime time.
We will do that too, but we're going to have a detailed panel discussion on a subject matter, which I want your thoughts on.
So no buts.
In just a bit.
Now that I have your commitment, I look forward to it.
Well, so right now we're going to have a panel discussion in a short while from now on an issue, on a subject matter where I want your thoughts, Smriti ji. The issue is, what should be benchmarks for Indian women? Should there be any benchmarks in the first place, and should there be this comparison, Indian women versus internationally?
Who decides the benchmark is the question first. The second is, what are the issues with regards to benchmarks that are to be set? For instance, we as a country are told that discrimination on behalf of gender is a brown person's problem. But it's a global issue. Today, if you look at child marriage, we in India as citizens and as legislatures have been extremely conscious of this particular challenge societally and have worked together irrespective of in parliament or outside parliament to address this issue. There is a state in the United States of America that refuses to pass legislation on child marriage. Is that a topic of conversation globally or in the subcontinent? It is not. So who sets the agenda? Who is the one who sets the benchmark? And who is the one who decides which pathway with regards to the benchmark is the correct pathway or not? Just to elaborate on what I've said, with your permission, we always as Indians get beaten up with the Gender Inequality Index. This year, as Minister, I wanted to go in depth into the numbers which decide whether we are equal or unequal as a nation. And you'd be shocked that the maternal mortality rate that decided India's position was flawed. I have written communication from the agency which said, why don't you open up the link with regards to the data that helped us ascertain India's position. Now, just to clarify here, India was looked at 174 with regards to MMR. The link the agency sent us had MMR at 158, and the reality was that if you looked at current data, you would have found that India has jumped to 113. Second aspect, when we looked and judged internationally, they talk about education, but they don't talk about skill. They talk about labor participation, but they don't talk about the entrepreneurial women who have received 150 million of them, who have received Mudra Yojana. So whose race are we running?
Right.
And is it fair that you set the agenda, you tell us we run the race, We might come first, but then you decide, nah, you'll give the winner's trophy to someone
Well, but
else.
whoever holds sway, that's the
That in
reality.
no way dissuades us.
Sadly, but sad, but
No,
true.
but
Whoever
that
holds
should
sway
not in
controls the
any way
narrative.
dissuade. No, I think that it should not dissuade us from engaging, but also it should be an opportunity for us for being very assertive about facts. What are the facts? 150 million women in our country got Mudra loans. They did not become job workers in somebody's establishment. They became business leaders. What are the facts? 59 lakh self-help groups in our country received in the past 5 years 2,77,000 crore rupees, not from the government, but from financial and banking institutions so that they could do business. Are they labor? No, they are not. Are they business leaders? No, they are not. They are self-help groups who work. And I'm proud to say that the return on their investment is such that the MPA for such women's organizations is only 2%. Those stories never get told every day. And I think it's time that these stories get told. So when we are internationally judged, we are judged on health. And what is the health parameter? MMR. What happens to the health impact, let's say, of Ujjwala Yojana, where now 8 crore women have access to clean fuel? Does that get captured in terms of data or impact in any indice in the world? It does not. Is this a reality in our country that 11 crore women got access to a toilet for the first time in 5 years? Yes. Does that get captured in any international indice? It does not. So the idea is not to say I shall not embrace an indice that does not reflect this reality of India. The idea is to say that I will take these issues to those platforms and say, this is the length to which we have gone to ensure that women get opportunities, and it is time that those contributions are also recognized. That talent of Indian women is also recognized.
Well, now these are hard numbers, and these are how the benchmarking is done as far as indices to determine whether women are doing well or not. But internally, if we look within, there is still many miles to go and many promises to keep. Because if and I'm going to
Absolutely.
talk, and if I'm going to talk about an issue that pains me right now, is the amount of fight an Asha Devi has to and the number of times she has to run around, and the number of dates she has seen over the last 7 years and 3 months. You know, where in our justice system downwards,
the
across the board.
The procedure is still underway, Anand. So I would not speak volumes about it. And in my conversations with that mother for the past 7 years, there's much that has been said and exchanged with her. And I will only say this, that the government's responsibility was to bring in legislation which was tougher on crime against women, to bring about a death penalty for raping a child below the age of 12, happened under the Prime Minister's leadership, to make child pornography punishable by law, happened under the Prime Minister's leadership, to establish 1023 fast-track courts in this country in 1 year, happened under the leadership of the Prime Minister, to now in the new POCSO rule, we have even set the time limit for a doctor once they have actually assessed a crime scene evidence, assessed a child or a woman who has been brutalized, in as to how much time frame within which they should immediately submit their report, so that the entire investigative process or the judicial process is not delayed. So the government has dedicated itself to details, but yes, Asha Devi's challenge and her struggle has many questions that are still unanswered, and I'm hoping after the hanging I get the opportunity of bringing answers to such questions. But I would be mindful of her position right now and not speak so that she is in no way discredited or does not get the benefit of the doubt.
I respect that. Rather than tonight, I'm not going to ask you what have you done. I'm going to ask you, Smriti ji, what is it that you want to do? What are the benchmarks that you have set for yourself going forward in the next 2 or 3 years and through the tenure of this government? What are the 4 or 5 things which you believe you need to do to try and raise the position, stature of women? Because clearly there is not equality in the true sense in our country, and we have to be very honest about it.
I think that with evolving times, the needs of women need to be applied to similarly. One cannot say that I have a context or a structure to work in, and that context or that structure won't change in the coming 5 years. I think that a government that has the ear to the ground and responds to needs as and when they arise is what women need in the country currently. For instance, when we talk about trafficking legislation, we decided before the legislation came to Parliament that through the Nirbhaya Fund, we support establishment of anti-trafficking units across every district in this country. I'm grateful that the Ministry of Home Affairs has accepted that suggestion. We decided that when we want to work for security and safety of women, we do not contain ourselves to only establishing female police stations, but actually make sure that there are women's help desks across all police stations in the country. Again, I'm grateful that the Ministry of Home Affairs did accept this particular request of ours, but we want to work for women across all segments of governance. So for the first time in the history of our country, we will now have 21 chairs set up in the name of various women of high eminence who have contributed in the field of medicine, science, technology, mathematics, administration, literature, performing arts. We want to tell our children and generations to come that when you look at women achievers, we don't have limitation. There are countless women who have contributed much to the growth of this nation, who are the pride of this country. Those women not only need to continue to inspire, but I think those trailblazers would bless all those who follow. So our endeavor is to ensure that be it in academia, be it in financial services like Mudra, or for that matter, be it in science and technology or safety and security, the government is all cylinders fired on every aspect, or through every ministry, including MSME, to ensure that women's lives get better in the times to come.
My final question to you, Smriti ji, before I know you have a tight schedule also to run and plenty of commitments. My question to you, as a mother, a daughter, as a politician, as an MP, what do you believe is the biggest change we need to undergo as a society? Because India, if we go back into our texts and if we go back to about 2500 BC, there was a different civilization where society was equal. Women
Absolutely.
were. Yeah.
We
now,
can take
how
pride
far,
in the
how
fact,
difficult is it going to be for us to go back
that
there?
before, I think we can take pride as a civilization in the fact that before the Sexual Harassment at Workplace Bill came into Parliament in 2013, in the Arthashastra, we actually had a whole text dedicated to how to punish a man who harasses a woman who is either working or is under the refuge of the king. The fact that we have evolved from that kind of background is a matter of pride for every Indian. The fact that we could have women even write the marriage contract is something that we should cherish. But the question that you posed to me is how do we make lives of women better is a question to be posed not only to women but also men.
Absolutely.
Because women cannot grow in terms of capacity or opportunity without being shoulder to shoulder with men. So next time you have a man on your program, do ask him that question.
I will ask that question, and I continue to ask that question to myself on a personal basis, day by day, every day I do that.
And I'll hold you to the promise
that
for the next 365 days, at least in some part of your segment, you feature the women's story.
We will, and I will
much.
consciously make that endeavor, and I'll make that effort. That's a promise I make to you. Maybe not all 365 days, but whenever I see the chance, and I will do it. And I'll live up to that.
Just like a man
No.
turning away from a promise in 5 minutes.
I'm just saying that I will make a promise I can keep. I'll make a promise I can keep, and I will not. And I'll endeavor to take that commitment to 365 days. That's what I'll do. Smriti, thank you. Wonderful talking to you.
Thank you, Anand, and happy Women's Day.
Thank you. Well, so what is the roadmap for equality in